Hi guys, welcome back to Dave's Reviews. Today I have a book review for you. I recently read Stephen King's latest book, The Outsider. Now I read it on my Kindle app on my tablet, but I also listened to the audiobook version at the same time I was reading it.
Yeah.
The Outsider, it's Stephen King takes us on an interesting ride through this book. It takes place in a small town in Texas where the local baseball coach he gets publicly arrested in front of a huge crowd of people there to attend the game for a heinous crime that he supposedly committed on a minor. Due to the horrific nature of the way this child was murdered, the police and the prosecutor, they want to really make a big show with his arrest, and so they do, and they take him in, and it starts this long. I mean, it starts off like a regular, police procedural, but then it takes a turn for the interesting. As it turns out, that character who was arrested, he has an alibi, and he was in another city altogether. So really, when you look at it, there was no way that he could be at that event and performing the murder at the same time. But the police have gathered all this DNA evidence from the scene. They have his fingerprints, they have his DNA, just stuff that you can't make up. And then there's the witnesses. They have several witnesses that have come forth and said that they've seen this guy with the child and driving the particular vehicle that the child was abducted in, and all that, and just all this overwhelming evidence. And so that turns out to be the sort of direction where the story goes. They have to find out, how did this guy manage to be in this place and this place at the same time, or was he? I don't want to go too deep into what the book is about, but it does touch on certain Mexican folklore, and it also involves a character from his Mr. Mercedes trilogy of books. So if you haven't read those, I would really suggest you read those first, because some things are mentioned in this book that happen in that trilogy, particularly in the third volume of that trilogy. So if you don't want to spoil it, then I would definitely read those first. And plus, having that information and context gives a little more weight to The Outsider. It makes it a little bit more enjoyable. Yeah, because this particular character plays a pretty large part in the second and third acts of this book. So what did I think about The Outsider? Like everything else Stephen King writes, I loved it. I even like the Tommyknockers, which I know a lot of people don't like, but this one held me in there. It was really good, well paced, and just everything that was coming up as far as the investigation and into this guy and so and so. It was really interesting, and it grips you, and it just carries you along. The audiobook version, that one is read by, now he seems to be reading all of Stephen King's books, Will Patton, and he does an outstanding job reading this book. I don't know if he also reads the Mr. Mercedes trilogy and a couple of other Stephen King's books, and he does a really fabulous job. The audiobook version of The Outsider comes in at just over 18 hours, but I'm going to tell you it flies by really fast, because I don't know what it is, how he writes, but everything moves quick, and it doesn't seem like it's 18 hours. Before you know it, boom, the book is done. So yeah, I really, really loved The Outsider, and I really can't wait to see what he comes up with next. So look, whether you like Stephen King or police procedurals or even crime novels, I mean, this one, it really, really keeps your interest, and the story over the entire length of the book is strong, and in my opinion, very good. So I give The Outsider by Stephen King 5 stars out of 5 stars. So, if you haven't read it yet, my suggestion is to pick it up and, like I said, finish the Mr. Mercedes trilogy and then start in on this one. I think you're going to like it. If you have read it, I'd like to hear what you thought about the book. So why not just leave a comment down below? And if you're new here, or whether you see my view or you watch my videos from time to time, but you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe down below so you can keep up on all my latest reviews. That's it. I hope you guys have a nice week. I appreciate your watching, and I'll see you next time.